All right, hi class. So today we're talking about how to compare and order real numbers. So we're going to be looking at irrational and rational numbers. So please make sure you write down the lesson title and the objectives. So we're comparing those rational numbers and irrational numbers, and we're going to order them. First, we need to look at what a perfect square is. A perfect square is a number made by squaring a whole number. So let's create a list of perfect squares. So here's our list of perfect, that's an E, perfect squares. Okay? So we would have 1 squared is a perfect square. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 2. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared, 16. So our list of perfect squares is this continues. 5 squared is 25. So then we would have 36. Then that would be 6 times 6. So 6 squared. So 7 squared is 49. 8 squared is 64. 9 squared is 81. 10 squared would be 100. Okay, and we can see that pattern there. Typically we would stop at 100. You could think of 11 squared and 12 squared, but anything after that you probably won't be using as frequently. Okay? So we need to remember the list of perfect squares. So these are our perfect squares. Okay? So let's look at our first example. We're going to approximate an irrational number. So Darcy wants to add the ribbon shown along the diagonal of the rectangular flag she's designing. Does Darcy have enough ribbon? So is this ribbon long enough to fit across this diagonal here? So we need to first approximate what the square root of 74 is. So let's draw this out on a number line. And we can think of a perfect square that is less than 74 would be 8. Because 8 squared is 64. So we could have the square root of 64. And a number that is bigger than 74, the next perfect square would be 9 or 81. So we know that the square root of 74 is somewhere between 64, the square root of 64, and the square root of 81. Or we know the square root of 74 is somewhere between 8 and 9. So we're approximating it. So it could be over here, it could be closer over here. So let's put it in the middle. Well, let's think about this. What's that distance from 64 to 74? Well, that would be 10. And the distance from 74 to 81 is 7. So we know that 74, the square root of 74, is over the middle. It would be somewhere over here. So it has to be past the halfway point. Halfway would be 8.5. And I'm going to clean this up a bit. Oh dear. There we go. Uh-oh. I'll just erase that and then rewrite it. All right, so we have the square root of 74. So let's try 8.6. Let's try 8.6. So to approximate 8.6, we're just going to multiply 8.6 times 8.6. Because we want to know if there's enough ribbon. So her ribbon is 8.5. So if this is bigger than 8.6, we know straight away, no, she does not have enough. Okay, so straight away we know she doesn't have enough because the square root of 74 is bigger than 8.5. But let's approximate it. Let's see how much she would actually need. So 8.6 times 8.6. So 6 times 6 is 36. 8 times 6 is 48 plus 3 gives us 51. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 8 is 64 plus 4, so 68. we'll add these up. So 6, 9, 3, and then we add the 1. So 73. So the square root of 74 is approximately equal to 73.96. So almost 74. So it's pretty close, okay? So we know, we know it's approximately equal to 8.6, okay? Because that's pretty close to 74. So she does not have enough. She would need about 8.6, okay? Which two whole numbers is the square root of 7 between? So square root of 12, I don't know why I said 7. It's clearly a 12. So the square root of 12, what two whole numbers is the square root of 12 between? So we have a whole number here, and we'll have a whole number here. Let you go ahead and type that in. All right, it's between 3 and 4. Because 3 squared is 9, so the square root of 9, and 4 squared gives us 16, so the square root of 16. So the square root of 12 is somewhere between 3 and 4. It's somewhere between 3 and 4. Okay? We're going to go ahead and compare these numbers here. Compare the square root of 32 and 5.51326. Okay, so plot it on a number line. So I've drawn my number line going by tens, or 0.1 I mean. Okay, so 5.5. So we first of all have that 5.51326 is somewhere right about there. So now we need to approximate the square root of 32. Oops. Square root of 32 is approximately equal to, well, let's try a number that's bigger than 5.5. Let's try 5.6. So 5.6 times 5.6 would be 36, 33, 30, and 25, and 28. So 6, 3, 1, 3. There we go. 1 and 3. There we go. Okay, so 31.36. So it's approximately equal to 5.6. And if you wanted to get more precise, you could try a number here, and it is actually about 5.6 would be about right here. It's actually a little bit above it. It's about right there, halfway between. And you could check this, but I'm not going to go through that there. But if you wrote 5.6, that's okay. It doesn't tell you how close to approximate it. All right, let's go ahead and compare and order the rational numbers and irrational numbers. So to do this, we need to convert all to decimals. All right, so we need to convert these all to decimals. So pi squared. Pi is approximately equal to 3.14. So pi squared would be 3.14 times 3.14. Okay, so we'll multiply that together. I hope I don't run out of room. 6, 5, 12, 4, 1, 3. I am going to run out of room. And the last one is 12, 4, and 9. Add those up. 6, 9, 5, 8, 9. So it's approximately equal to 9.8546. The next one, 9 and 1/2. Well, that one's nice and easy, 9.5. The next one, 9.8, is already a decimal, 9.8. 9.5 repeating is just 9.5 repeating, and the square root of 94. So this one we also have to think of. That's between 9 and 10, because 9 squared would be 81, and 10 squared would be 100. So the square root of 94 is somewhere between these two, and it's over the halfway point, so it's somewhere out here. So I'll try 9.6. Okay, so this is just scratch work here. 9.6 times 9.6 gives us 36. 9 times 6 is 63, I believe. Let me check this. It's actually, we're going to do it with 7. 9.7. 9.7 times 9.7. And I'm, for the sake of time, going to just work this out on my calculator, so it's 94.09. Okay, so it's 94.0, oops, is 9.7. So now what we would do is we would order this, okay? So we'll order it. So the smallest one first would be 9.5. So I've done that one. I cross it out. Make sure I don't repeat. 9.5 repeating. Cross it out. 9.7. Cross it out. 9.8. Cross it out. And then 9.8546. And you know what? I should have written these out instead because these are the numbers that it goes with. So it should be 9 1/2 and 9.5 repeating and square root of 94, 9.8 and pi squared. This is actually what our answer should be right here, not what I boxed. Okay? All right, this last one, go ahead and order these. And here's your answer. Okay? Please let me know if you have any questions. I know this was a lot. Take it step by step. Write down your questions if you have any. Thank you.